even on the floor of Parliament. And so I'm a bit conflicted because, of course, I do understand that, factually speaking, you know, they were saying this and now they're in government. And I want to really welcome the nominees from the Azimio coalition to government. But so they also can't have their cake and eat it. We can't have people like Sifuna and Raila Odinga saying, you know, I had no idea about these nominees. They did it on their own. I mean, this is the minority leader that we're talking about. It is someone who holds a hierarchy in the Azimio coalition, or rather ODM, because my good brother Basil does not want to be associated with the entire coalition. What I can say is that at the end of the day, the key drivers of the agenda will be people working under the CSS. And I believe even a poll can become a soul. So I want to trust that once these CSS are vetted and then they take their oath of office, that they will actually serve the bottom-up agenda and help the president implement the plan. And quote-unquote, politicians politic all the time. And I think that is where we don't get the gist of things. And like I've said, there's the politics of it. And most of the time we want to look at things from a very idealistic perspective. And that's why you find that we say that politicians have no shame. Today you'll say this, tomorrow you'll be, you know, very different, and you'll wake up and life goes on, because that's the politics of it. It's like the job description that you hold, right? There's a particular manner in which you do things. That is the way politics is run. Of course, there's a lot of and bad manners. There's a lot of you know, jitters here and there, and I can say for a fact that a lot of people have been told, you know, checkmate. Like I've said, Gen Zs have been told checkmate. Now Mount Kenya has also to rethink its politics, because we must also look ahead and think where the region will be in 2027 because of political realignment. And the coming in of Azimio also says that, well, the president has an option and he has a right to have an option because that is the politics of it. So Mount Kenya must also think along those lines and other regions so that we see how the puzzle will be fitting in 2027.
There's one headline, I think, on the Star. They say why Ruto-Raila deal puts Regigi in a tight spot. And the deputy president had been very vocal saying that ametega mitego State House to ensure that Raila Odinga doesn't get to the president. Now things have changed. What happens to the deputy president? And do you think his position as a possible running mate for the president come 2027 is under threat with the recent realignments?
I was looking at the Standard, I think page 4, and I saw some comments, or rather some opinion. And in politics, we never rule out anything, you know, because at the end of the day, I believe that, like I've said, politics is about interest. There are no permanent enemies, there are no permanent alliances. There's nothing that is cast in stone. And that is why I have insisted that Mount Kenya must rethink its politics and realignments, perhaps, and look at what could happen, all the possible scenarios for 2027, and see where the region fits and where the puzzle is going to, you know, fit well and move. And of course, when the DP asserted that Ameka Mitego and that Raila will not get in government, the president has also pronounced himself in Mount Kenya region, actually, that Raila will not get in government. There's no Nusumkate. I remember there's a time that there were headlines of a restless Mount Kenya, and the president had a tour of the region, I think for 4 days or 3 days, and that was a conversation at the time. So, like I have said, politics, you can say this today, tomorrow, depending on how the alignment of interest goes about, you say something different, and it is the politics of it. So I think perhaps maybe we take things in a very literal manner as Kenyans, forgetting that the politics of things is not to take things in a literal manner. So for me, the DP, yes, has to rethink his politics in 2027. He has to see where he fits and know that with the new political realignment, it's very likely that perhaps we could see changes in 2027, but also the president has to look at the facts on the table and where he got his numbers last time and where he will get his numbers in 2027, and whether they, it's like having a wife and then having like another new wife, right? So he has to see
having a second wife, yes.
Whether both of them will coexist, whether the new wife will replace the old wife, or whether maybe they will do a 50-50. So at the end of the day, the factual thing about it is that Mount Kenya has to rethink its politics.
Okay. It's all about politics, and some people are saying, Bonalote, that this had very little to do with the current crisis. It's more about 2027, and that the president is looking ahead. He's sitting pretty, but he feels 2027 there could be a problem.
Well, I will not say that, because one,